Let's talk about Rebel Moon, Part 1, Child of Fire. This is Zack Snyder's.
Oh, it's a part one.
It's Part 1. This is Zack Snyder's purported to be a pitch that Zack Snyder pitched to Lucasfilm for a potential Star Wars movie. This is what it's purported to be. It is a science fiction film set in a faraway universe, not connected to anything in particular, but it's connected to many previous science fiction films that came before it. It is focused on a story of a young woman named Cora, played by Sofia Boutella, and she is a former military special operative. Let's just say that. She has previously worked for the Empire, so she comes preloaded with a special set of skills. We meet Cora as she is plowing the field on a planet where she is part of a farming community. People who live on the outskirts of the galactic empire who want to live a simple, peaceful life. And this people from the empire come and visit Cora and the small farming community. And effectively, they're there to steal all of their produce, steal all the fruits of their labor, and leave them with barely anything to survive. This oppressive galactic empire that hails from a central planet does this to all the planets, all little small planets in the galaxy that don't really have protections, meaning warriors to protect them from these elements in the empire that are effectively shaking them down. This is no different than the mafia, right? Go to a planet, shake them down, give us your resources or else. And they're forced to do it. But Cora is special as being part of this community. She knows a little something, and she's been a part of this galactic empire. And so she takes off with a young man named Gunnar, and the two of them are traveling the galaxy to collect a group of people with special skills, including General Titus, played by, I'm going to mispronounce his name, but you've seen this actor before, Digimon Honsu.
Jimon Hansu, yeah.
Jimon Honsu. Bai Duna plays a character named Nemesis, who's effectively a samurai. She wields two swords that blaze and look something like lightsabers. She's discovered on a planet dispensing with a evil spider, played by, believe it or not, Jenna Malone. Zack Snyder likes to work with a lot of the same actors. So what is the story of Rebel Moon? We only got a taste of the world when we saw the initial trailer for the first movie, Rebel Moon. But what is the story? I'll tell you exactly what the story is. It's basically Seven Samurai, which was remade as a Western, The Magnificent Seven, which was then remade as another Western years later. But it also owes a lot more to, I can't believe I'm telling you this, Battle Beyond the Stars. No one remembers this movie, but probably me, but Battle Beyond the Stars, which had a great soundtrack from James Horner, which he effectively reused for Star Trek to the Wrath of Khan, stars Richard Thomas from the Waltons. He was John Boy Walton, who's a young farm boy who's shaken down by this evil leader played by John Saxon. And then Richard Thomas's character, he takes off in the galaxy, collects a bunch of different individuals. I am very fond of remembering Sybil Danning, who was in that movie. She had amazing armor. In any case, if you've seen Battle Beyond the Stars, that's effectively the story of Rebel Moon. Cora begins to collect a group of misfit mercenaries to protect her planet, her adopted planet, against this invasion, striking at the heart of the empire. Does the movie work? It didn't work for me. I found the production design was messy and all over the place, where you've got like some of it is influenced by westerns. You've got some of the Galactic Empire people effectively wearing like skinny ties out of like some 80s band, new wave punk band. You've got like Baiduna with who has the wielding the two samurai swords, the red samurai swords, uh, dressed in some long hat. It was it was so weird. Like there was no design, no consistent design. In addition to the fact that the movie Rebel Moon is colored in a way that it's like it's like Zack Snyder used Instagram filters and set them all to dark. And by the way, I didn't see this movie on Netflix. I didn't watch a screener on my television. I saw this movie at the Egyptian in 70 millimeter, and it still looked muddy, which was very disappointing. Um, so and some of it just felt boring. There was so much plodding along where it's like, I get what you're trying to do. I get it. I get it. And this is a huge gamble for Netflix because this is part one of a what's supposed to be not just a two-part story. Zack Snyder also has a completely different cut of this movie, a long version. Well, I'm not joking. Additionally, if you walk into a Walmart, they already have Rebel Moon action figures, and there are comic book prequels about some of the characters. He's building his own Star Wars universe, or at least this is what Netflix is aspiring to do. Um, I can't sit here and tell you that there weren't some moments where I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. But nearly every action sequence, every fight scene, and even key moments and imagery from Rebel Moon is from another movie. And I felt like I was watching like someone took Battle Beyond the Stars, Krull, Ice Pirates, Akira, put it in a blender, and made this movie. It's influenced by all of those things. It's influenced by low budget, cheap 80s sci-fi done with modern effects. And I can't sit here and tell you, like, some of the effects were pretty cool, some of the spaceships pretty cool, but I was really not engaged with the characters. There is a moment, no spoilers on this. We'll talk about it tomorrow, Alan, because I really need to see this. There are some good action sequences. It's just too little, too late. I wasn't engaged with the characters in the story. It doesn't necessarily end on a cliffhanger, but it doesn't complete the full story. Um, Bottom line for me, this film missed the mark. I can't say it was a success. Do I care about part two? Not really. This was a gamble for Netflix, and I feel like they came up short. They really came up short, and a lot of it is, I hate to say this, it's Zack Snyder's self-indulgence where this movie failed more than anything. So look, if I had to rate it, I'd probably give it something around a 4 or a 5 out of 10. And even whereas like I was talking about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom before, where I had fun, I didn't have fun watching this movie. I found parts of it insufferable, parts of it cringe, and parts of it like eye rolling. So make of that what you will. And it's also something, it proves something. When you're engaged with the characters and you actually really care about the characters, you'll overlook effects or things that are dumb, right? Like, I am fully aware that a lot of what we saw in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is completely stupid. But because I cared about the characters, like, I know this is bad. Like, this is what we're just trying to have a good time. This movie, there's a scene that's right out of the cantina in Star Wars that's so poorly done. There's some interesting characters, but it's like you walk in, it's like, ooh, it's their version of the cantina from Star Wars. It's the Rebel Moon, and it doesn't work. And it's PG-13, but this was originally billed to be an R-rated Star Wars. It was going to be R-rated. We're going to have nudity and over-the-top violence, limbs being chopped off, gory deaths. It doesn't do that. If they were going to do it and they really wanted to do an R-rated Star Wars, they should have gone full in. Make it more adult, make it sci-fi that makes you think. And the world building is where this movie really failed. the world building, they didn't really set it up. We learn about Cora's backstory in the middle of the movie. She just is a badass from the beginning, but we learn like, hey, she went through training. She was a big part, and she turned her back on the Empire because she's a good person. And look, you can't blame any of the actors for this. Sofia Boutella has been incredible in other films. Kingsman comes to mind, where I thought she was great, but and Charlie Hunnam as well. But and Bai Duna, I love her in Cloud Atlas. I thought she was fantastic. But um, overall, just this film failed for me. Like I say, probably a 4 or 5. And I'm curious to hear what you think. It's on Netflix on Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. It comes out. So, Alan, you got a late night ahead of you.
Yeah.
And there's an early look, no spoilers. That's my early review for Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire.
Yeah, I'm baffled by. I mean, it's coming to Netflix. I assume the Egyptian is the only theater you can watch it.
You can see it in a theater at the Egyptian. It's playing. That's basically
that's the only place you can see it in Hollywood.
Well, the Egyptian, they share the Egyptian with the American Cinematheque, so they do retrospective screenings. Then they screen the Netflix movies play at the Egyptian. Also, it's a beautiful venue.
Yeah,
but
but I mean, look, it sounds like it should have been rated R. It sounds like it would have been more interesting if it was rated R.
Yeah,
and if you're going straight to Netflix, why not just do a rated R movie? Was the intent to open it up to kids? I mean, that seems short-sighted at this point.
No, they were looking. I think they were looking to capitalize on adult Star Wars fans that are.
But to make it PG-13, just it just sounds like you're cutting yourself off at the legs there.
Yeah.
And then this is his version of Star Wars. Are they just saying that, or were there?
No. He pitched this as
like a Rogue One type thing,
like he pitched this to Lucasfilm as a Star Wars movie.
Okay.